All right, so I'm actually going to skip number 1, but we're going to talk about inscribed angles. And inscribed angles are kind of like central angles, but what are central angles? What are central angles?
Where the vertex is in the center.
So for inscribed, the vertex is on the outside of the circle. So it goes all the way across the circle. Okay. So if you look yesterday, I'm just going to give you an example real fast. I'm going to erase this off, so just you don't have to draw it. If you want to, you can. This is a central angle that I just drew, and inscribed, the vertex is on the outside of the circle. So that's the difference. This one is central. So central is the same as the arc. Inscribed is half the arc. Inscribed is half the arc. Okay, and like I said, I'm just going to erase this off. I was just trying to give you a visual of what we did yesterday compared to what we're doing today. So again, central is equal to the arc. Inscribed is half the arc. So I'm going to start with number 2. We'll come back to number 1 in a few minutes. Let's get this down first before we do a really hard one. I'm not even sure why that one's on there. But if we look at this one, we have an inscribed angle right here. If we connect the endpoints X and W, that's its arc. So this angle is half of the arc. What is half of 160?
80.
Perfect. Stop. Sorry, y'all. And that's literally all you do. Okay. So yesterday, same as the arc. Today, half the arc. A lot of people get these confused. Just remember to look where the end point or the vertex point is. If it's on the center, it's equal. If it's on the vertex, on the circle, then it's half. So if we look at it again, here's the angle. Here's the arc. That angle is half the arc. So what's half of 64? And y'all, that's it. That's all you do. Okay, same thing here. Here's your angle. Here's your arc. Your angle is half your arc. So what's half of 120? So your angle is 60 degrees. We're looking for angle E. So here's your angle. Here's your arc. That other line in there means absolutely nothing at all to you right now. Remember, the angle is half of the arc. So what is half of 110?
55.
55. Okay. So then you get to ones like this, where we want this angle, but we need this arc. The thing is, take what you remember from yesterday. We know that the yellow arc is 110 plus 106. How much is a full circle? 360. So a full circle is 360. I don't need the 106 and I don't need the 110. So I'm going to subtract that off. Okay. So 360, let me clear this out. 360 minus 106 minus 110 gives me this full arc right here at 144. So that means this angle is half the arc of 144. So you just had to find the arc. What is half of 144? 72. That's it. So sometimes you have to use the full circle to be able to find it. All right. Let's look at number 8. I'll come back to number 7, I promise. Number 8 is just like number 6. We have this angle but we need this arc. How do we find that arc? How do we find just this arc? So 360 minus 130 minus 100, which you probably could have done in your head. We get 130. How do I find the angle? The angle is half of the arc. So what is half of 130? What's half of 130? 65. Perfect. Thank you. Again, we'll come back to number 1 and 7. We'll come back. All right. I'm looking for the angle S. Be smart about this one. But I need AQ, arc AQ. How can I get that one? What do you notice? What does the diameter do? Split it in half. So we don't need this half at all. So we already have 102. So half the circle is 180, and we're going to subtract that 102. What's 180 minus 102? Oh, sorry. That's what I was trying to get in. Somebody else. 180 minus 102.
78.
Perfect. So then how do we find the angle?
Divide it by 2.
Yep. Half of 78 or 78 divided by 2 is 39 degrees. Number 10 is the exact same thing. So we're looking for this angle, but we need arc KL. We see a diameter, so we don't need this half of the circle. How much is this arc? How do I find it? $180 minus 104 is 76. So to find the angle, we do half of 76. $38. That's it. All right. We're going to go back. We're going to look at number 7. Number 7 is probably the most complicated that it gets. So if you get number 7, you should be fine. Sorry, my nose is itching really bad. All right, so I don't want to draw too much on this, but I want you to be able to see it. I need this arc right here. The problem is I have the 108, but I don't have this. So I can't really find it. So what I need to do is look and see if there's anything else they give us. What other information do they give us in the circle? That's the only other thing they give you. There's only one other thing in the circle. What is it? The 115. Okay, so we're going to use that 115. How do you use it? So it's exactly how you use it. This angle is half of this arc. Does that make sense? So we're going to work backwards. This arc is 2 times the 115. So the yellow arc is what I'm looking at. What is 2 times 115? So this whole arc from here, I'm going to erase this for a second so I don't confuse you, okay? That's the one I'm looking for. All the way around is 230. You good? What can I find knowing that? What does that help me find? Do we need our angle? What are we missing? What are we missing to be able to solve the problem? So let's go back to our question mark. Remember, we need arc C to L. What are we missing out of that? K to L. That's my objective, is to get K to L. So I got to figure out how to get that arc. So what does this help me do? This 230 is the full arc. What do you think?
Subtract it from 360.
You can. If you subtract it from 360, you're going to get this side, right? That'll be perfect. I would have never thought about that. Yes, you do. So 360 minus 230, put that in your calculator. You can do that in your head. It doesn't matter. It's 130. That gives me this much. All of that is 130. How do I find this arc right here? And Jordan just said it. You guys probably didn't hear her. You're going to subtract that 60. This is one way to do it. There are other ways to do it, which gives you 70. So now we know that this arc is 70, and we can find our angle because now we have our full arc. What is our full arc for the angle? How do we find that? What's your full pink arc right here?
70 plus 108.
108 plus 70, which is 178. And then what do we know about that angle right there? It's half of that. So 178 divided by 2 gives us 89 degrees. Those are the hardest ones, okay? So we're going to do a couple of those. We'll get through it. All right. So that one is actually harder than number one. Number one makes it a little bit easier. So if we go back to number one, why do they give us 108? What can we do with 108? They give us the angle. What can we find?
Yeah.
Are you on number one?
No, that's
Okay. All right, number one.
You can find the arc.
The arc, which arc? C to A. So I can find this big arc. And how can I find that big arc?
Divide by 2.
108 times 2, which is? Don't make it too complicated. 108 times 2, 216. All right, but what I want is this arc. So how do I get this arc now that I know all of this one? Subtract it from 360. So 360 minus 216 gives you 144. So this whole arc is 144. How do I get this angle? Divide it by 2 or cut it in half, and you get 72. So it's a little bit simpler than the other one. We're going to keep doing some. It's not like I'm going to stop and you just got to go from here. Okay. All right. Let me find a somewhat easy one. Look at number 14. We're going to do all of these, but I want to try to do it like easiest to hardest. All right. So we need to find X. So remember our formula. Angle equals half the arc. Okay, that's our formula we're looking at. So at number 14, we have angle V and arc WX. So what expression represents our angle? Which one's your angle? Is it this one or is it this one?
30x minus
Thank
2.
you. Come on, guys. I already wasted enough of your time. I don't want to waste more just because you don't want to answer. Okay. All right. 30x minus 2 is half. The arc is 57x plus 2. You can also do it the other way. If you want to do 2 times the angle, so you're not dealing with fractions, you can do that as well. Okay. So it's up to you. So I would multiply by 2 here to get rid of that 1/2. So I'd get 60x minus 4 equals 57x plus 2. So again, all I did was multiply by 2 to get rid of that fraction. Now it's a regular equation, and we're just looking for x. So we're going to subtract 57x. We get 3x minus 4 equals 2. We're going to add 4 to both sides. We get 3x equals 6. Divide by 3. And x equals 2. That's all we were looking for. All right, look at number 12. We're going to go 12 and 15, and then we'll do 11 and 13. Okay. What do you notice in 12? We want this angle and this arc. Well, what do you notice? Yeah, there's a diameter. We don't care about this half of the circle. If this is a diameter, how can I get this arc measure? 180 minus 108, which is? Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was 72, but I was going to take your word for it for a minute. 72. So then now you can do either one. Which one do you want to do? 2 times the angle equals the arc, or angle equals half the arc? Which one? Okay. So your angle is 3x minus 9 equals half of your arc, which is 72. What is half of 72? 36. We're going to add 9. We get 3x equals 45. Divide by 3. And x equals 15. That's it. That's it. Good job. 15 is the exact same one. Just looks a little different, a little less confusing because there's not as many lines. Okay. So look at 15. What do you see in this? Notice they give us the 2 arcs. They're not asking us for the angle, okay? They're asking us for x. So you see the 2 arcs. What do you know about those 2 arcs? Yeah, there's a diameter right here. So these 2 arcs add to 180. So that's how you set it up. You don't have to do the half, the angle, or anything like that. So we're going to add them because they equal 180 when you add them. So just watch what they give you, okay? What's 9x plus 12x? 21x minus 9 equals 180. We're going to add 9. We get 21x equals 189. 189 divided by 21 is 9. So you're not always going to use the formula. You have to read what they give you. Okay, so just be careful about that. Look at your next one. 13 is exactly like number 12. I have this angle, but I would need that arc. What do you notice? We don't need this half. What is the measure of LQ? How'd you get 60? 180 minus 120 because we have half the circle. So then your angle, 3x plus 6 equals half of your arc, which is 60. Half of 60 is 30. We're going to subtract 6. We get 3x equals 24. We're going to divide by 3, and we get x equals 8. All right, so check this next one out. What do I do for this one? The 7x minus 15 is at angle E. I do need to find G to N. How could I do that? What will that give you? What? But we got to have just this, right? Just that, right? How can we do that? Let's hold this one. Let's hold this one and see if there's another example on here. I think this has to do with the, yeah, this is going to do with the measure of the arc of the angle indicated. Okay. I'll show you in just a second. All right, look at number 20. I'll show you in just a second, okay? Look at number 20. We have that inscribed angle. We have the arc, so this one's really easy. This time, all you're doing is instead of finding x, you're plugging in for the angle. So don't feel like you're doing anything any different. So we're going to do the angle, 2x plus 36 equals half of the arc. I don't like that fraction, so I'm going to multiply everything on the other side by 2. So I get 4x plus 72 equals 72 plus x. Okay, and again, all I did was multiply by 2 on both sides to get rid of that fraction. I'm going to subtract x. I get 3x plus 72 equals 72. Don't get confused right here. It's okay, because what is 72 minus 72? Not a hard question. 72 minus 72, 0. How do I finish solving? We divide by 3 and we get x equals 0. But it doesn't want x, it wants FDE, which is this angle right here. So I'm going to plug that in. 2 times 0 plus 36 gives us what? That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. All right, so this may help you on the other one. So something that we haven't done yet is if there is a quadrilateral, I'm going to write this at the bottom. Inscribed a circle in a circle, sorry. That means there's any shape in there. It could be a diamond, it could be a square, it could be a rectangle, it could be something weird like up there. In a circle, I don't know why it says circled. Opposite angles add to 180. Opposite angles add to 180. All right, so this will help you with 17, 18, 19, and that'll probably help you with number 7 or 1 or whatever we skipped up. Okay. So let's look at this very first one on number 17. Let's look at 17. Okay. We have opposite angles. They add to 180. What's 3x plus 6x? 9x. 27 plus 27? Not 30, but 54 equals 180. Subtract your 54. Use your calculator if you have to. Remember, you get it the whole time, so it doesn't matter. Don't feel bad. You get 9x equals 126. Sorry, I didn't mean to put a 9. And then divide by 9. Did it ask for x? No, what did it ask for? So we're going to do L to P to N, which is this one right here. So we're going to do 3 times 14 plus 27. And we get 69 degrees. All right. 19 is the same exact way, so I'm just going to scoot down and do that one so I can leave both up. How do I set this up?
Add them together.
And set them equal to?
180.
Perfect. 8 plus 5 is?
13.
Thank you. 23 minus 12?
11.
Equals 180. We're going to take 180 and subtract 11. So minus 11. We get 13x equals 169. I don't know why I keep doing that. Divide by 13. And we actually get 13. It's looking for x, GZ. Guys, 13 will be one of those multiple choice. So you need to be very careful when you're doing these problems, okay? Be very careful. On your final exam, they'll do that as well. Make sure you know what they're asking for. X, G, Z, which is this one. So 8 times 13 minus 12. Then you get 92. How do I set up 18? Add, set equal to 180. 8 plus 9? 15 minus 5?
10.
Subtract your 10. You get 17x equals 170. Divide by 17. You get x equals 10. We're looking for ATC, so follow it around, which is this angle right here. So we're going to plug in 10. So 9 times 10 minus 5. 9 times 10 is 90, minus 5 is 85. All right. So on the next one, we don't have inside angles. Remember though that the angle equals half the arc. So we just have to add that arc together. So the angle, 11x plus 10, equals half of the arc. To find the total arc, we add it all together. Sorry, I went up that line a little bit. We multiply by 2 to get rid of that 1/2. So 22x plus 20 equals, and I'm going to go ahead and put these together, 12x. What is 12 plus 78? 90. I'm going to subtract my 12x. I get 10x plus 20 equals 90. Subtract my 20. I get 10x equals 70. Divide by 10, and x equals 7. It wanted angle CQR. CQR is this one. So we're going to plug 7 in. 11 times 7 plus 10. 77 plus 10 is 87. Go back to number 11. That should be all for our notes except for number 11. I think I could be completely wrong. The 7x minus 15 may be for the n. Let's do it that way and see what happens. Let's make it a little bit easier on ourselves and see if that happens. So let's just say it's this way and let's see what happens. Okay. If it comes out to a fraction, we know it's not right, but we're going to leave it that way. If you have one on your homework or notes, just ask me about it. It may be that quadrilateral thing. So half the arc equals the angle. The angle is 7x minus 15 equals half of 110 plus 170, which is 180. What's half of 180? 90. That's all right. Add 15. We get 7x equals, what's 90 plus 15? Yeah, this one's going to be perfect. 90 plus 15.
105.
105. Then we're going to divide by 7. And it came out perfect. So it is. This was part of n. Okay. I didn't think we were quite there to that one yet. And that's all you needed. We didn't have to plug back in. All right. Look at your homework really fast. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.